These students that are sitting in front of you are students who have figured out how to be successful at Ouachita. Some of them are in OSF, which is Ouachita Student Foundation, and they can tell you a little bit more about that. One of you guys can choose to do that. We have some tutors from the Academic Success Center that some of them are in OSF and also tutoring, so they're on the panel. And then we have Joseph White. Do you guys know Joseph? Joseph, and he gave me permission to tell this. Joseph actually used to be in the academic probation program. So he was sitting where you are sitting now, okay? He figured out how to make the best of the resources at the Academic Success Center. I hope you tell him about that. He still continues to use the resources even though he's not in the program. And Joseph has made it. He's being really successful as a student at OBU, and we're really proud of him. So I'm really glad that we're here today. Before we open it up for questions, would you guys each just tell them who you are? You can tell them a little bit about yourself, where you're from, majors, what classification you are, and then whatever else you want to add about your experience at OBU. And then somebody from OSF, you guys can decide who. Just tell a little bit about what OSF is. You want to go first?
All right, I'm Joseph White from Sparkman, Arkansas. I'm a business marketing major, and that's all I have to say.
My name is Kaylee Harper. I'm a junior math and secondary education major from Northwest Arkansas. And I am an OSF, and I am also an academic success center tutor, mostly for math.
My name is Nick Archer. I'm a senior biology major from Fordyce, Arkansas. I'm on OSF as well as most of these people here. And I guess I'll tell you a little bit about OSF while I'm talking. So what OSF is Ouachita Student Foundation. And what that is, basically our motto is students helping students. And so the main goal of the organization is to help students raise money for scholarships to help keep other students at Ouachita. So most of the people up here have received a Ouachita Student Foundation scholarship in order to allow them to stay at Ouachita. What we do, we host two major events throughout the year. In the fall, we have Tiger Teens. In the spring, we have Tiger Tracks. And those are the main two events that we raise money, all toward helping help students raise money for scholarships.
My name is Jessica Ashcraft. I'm a senior biology major from Whitehall, Arkansas.
My name is Bonnie McGee, and I am a senior accounting major from Conway, Arkansas. And
I'm Hannah Hart. I'm a sophomore majoring in biology, chemistry, and Spanish. I'm in OSF, and I work at the Academic Success Center.
And I'm Josh Reefer. I'm from Searcy, Arkansas. I'm an accounting and finance major, and I'm on staff at the Academic Success Center and in OSF.
Joseph, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell them a little bit about how the Academic Success Center has helped you?
Well, just whenever I'm doing bad in a class, or just whenever I know I'm going to need some tutoring or whatever, I just go down there. Great people working in there, easy to work with. You go in there, just sign up for a tutor, and get it weekly or maybe just one time, and the tutor will do anything for you, and before long you'll be making A's. All right, so simple as that.
So you really do consider our services, tutoring services. I know you've worked a lot with Josh.
Yeah.
Josh is your guy, right?
He's great. He's really good at studies.
You really feel like it's helped you?
Yeah.
Like that's what got you through?
I would not pass college without this tutoring program. Simple as that. So.
Thank you. People, and we're going to get to other questions, but I do want to ask our tutors, Kaylee, Hannah, and Josh, what is it like to be a tutor with the ASC, and do you enjoy it? Are you passionate about working with the students?
I love working with the Academic Success Center. Partially because I love math, like that plays into it, but I also really love people. And so I love getting the opportunity to try and help people understand math better, and to try and help them succeed and not hate math. Like that's often my goal, is just to help you to not hate math. And that often comes by doing better in the class, because if you do poorly in the class, and if you're struggling, and if you're hating going into every single test because you know you're going to come out of it failing, then no, you're not going to like it. Like, why in the world would you enjoy that? But I love trying to get over that and trying to help people just understand it better and try and get it down to their level. Because math isn't as complicated as people think or as people feel that it is coming out of high school a lot of the time. And so, like working at the Academic Success Center helps me to try and fix that and to make it understandable, because whenever it comes down to it, math is one of the most logical and most understandable things that are out there. You just have to figure out how to make it make sense to you, which a lot of the times, like, I don't know, I've worked with some of you before, it comes down to talking about apples and barrels of apples and crates of apples, and for whatever reason, food seems to work really well with people. But just like, yeah, I love working with it because I love seeing the change that can happen whenever someone that like absolutely hated math or absolutely hated whatever subject, I just tend to work with math the most, can then finish the semester and be like, Haley, like, I didn't just pass, my final went awesome. Like, I felt so confident walking out of that. It wasn't just that I came out wondering like, okay, I think I might have done well enough to pass the class. But like, no, I made an A on the final, and like, I've gotten to see that happen. So that's like my favorite part.
For me, it's really fun to see the attitudes change. I mainly tutor in comp, and so the big thing about that is the exit exam. And people will come to me after taking their first one and they're like, I failed it and I don't want to do it again, but I know I have to. And so I help them through that, and eventually they start coming back and they're like, guess what? I got a C on my exit exam, and they're so excited because they passed. And I love seeing that attitude, like you start to just see things differently. And it's especially a very interesting thing for me to see, because I tutor in comp, but I used to live overseas, so I didn't really know English all that well. I mean, I could speak it, but I didn't know the grammar. And so coming back and being able to tutor in English and show people how things work and kind of get them through the process that I had to go to when I moved back to the States, that's what's really, really cool for me.
Yeah, I kind of share the same sentiment as both of them. I'm really passionate about the work we do here, because for me, it comes down to service and empowerment. You know, I get an opportunity to serve my peers on this campus, to help them out, to educate them. I mostly do accounting tutoring. I do some math tutoring. I'm nowhere near as good as Caleb, but I do like doing college algebra every once in a while. But it's an opportunity for me to serve them, to help people, you know, not only just, you know, obviously pass their classes, make good grades, but learn the materials, learn good study habits, and then it's also about empowering them. You know, kind of like I said, teaching them good study habits, teach them that a lot of the times when people come into tutoring, they're not as stupid as they think they are. A lot of tutees know a lot more than they think. It's just kind of helping them access it all in their brain. You know, this is my third year at the center. In the past, this time it's just been rewarding. There's nothing more rewarding than getting to hear one of your peers tell you, like, hey, I would not have passed this class if it weren't for you. And so I'm very passionate about the work that we do here.
I think of something else also, because it's not like always happy at the center. You know, there are times that like we'll be working with a student, working with them really hard, and it's hard on us whenever either that student isn't doing well anyways, like even though we think we're putting our best effort forth, or if we feel like that student like has the potential. That's probably the hardest. Whenever we are like, that student is nowhere near as stupid or as dumb as they think they are, because they're not stupid or dumb at all. And they just like aren't putting forth the effort, or they don't believe in themselves enough to even try. And like, so I just want to say that like, while like success stories definitely happen and we get to see those all the time, like it's not always easy on our side of things either. Like you might be like, ugh, like my tutor just thinks that everyone should be able to catch on to this just like that, or like they don't understand. No, we understand, and we're hurting just as much as you are if you're not like succeeding in the classes.
Does anybody have any questions for any of these guys? I've planted questions in the audience just so that we could have questions flowing, but does anybody have any of their own that you want to ask any of them? Okay, well, I'm not going to go in any kind of order. If you have a pink card, just go ahead and ask your question until we run through them all. Doesn't matter. Whoever wants to go first.
All right, did anyone pass on advice that helped you as a freshman?
Sorry.
Did anyone pass on advice that helped you as a freshman?
Did anybody give you any kind of advice along the way that when you were a freshman, you took to heart and that was something that was key for you? You wanna go, Nick?
Okay, so a big change happened between my, the fall of my freshman year and the spring of my freshman year. Someone said, you know, the main adjustment to college from high school is time management. Like, you have so much time in the day, but when it comes down to it, it fills up very quickly. And so the first semester, I didn't really manage my time wisely. Like, I would say, whenever anybody wanted to go out and do anything, I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I've got all the time in the world. Well, then I would get back at 12 o'clock at night and not do my homework, and then reap the consequences from it the next day in class. So I guess the major change from the fall of my freshman year to the spring is I really managed my time wiser to an extent. I'm definitely still working on that, but it's certainly been beneficial for me to plan out what I have to do every day. The biggest thing, I know it sounds stupid, but a planner is the best thing I invested in, because everything I have to do during the day is in that planner, and so I check it off, and if I check it off, I know, like, I'm done with that, you know. I can move on to the next thing and get stuff done, and that's kind of my main thing that's helped me really from freshman year, that's, you know, benefited me ever since. So.
Somebody else? Have any?
I would say that when I came my freshman year and I was asking advice from people, they would just tell me to, like, take your classes seriously and, like, take your syllabus seriously, like, whatever it says. Like, in high school, I didn't have to, like, it was high school, so I didn't really have to study that much for an English class or anything like that. But when I got to college, I didn't really take that advice serious. At the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't have to read for this class. And then test came, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have read for that class. So that kind of goes along with time management. Just whatever the professor, like, says to do, more than likely it's going to be to your benefit. And so, like, that's just that's helped me to do well since then, just studying for tests and stuff, is to actually, like, read the material and understand it.
Let me tell you right now, whenever you're, look, listen to me. You need to become good friends with your professors. Never miss a class. Do all of your homework. You'll be good. All right? I'm telling you that right now, because I do bad on almost all my tests. But do all your homework. Become good friends with your professors. Never miss a class. Show them that you're trying. You'll do good.
Very good advice.
And I don't remember really who I heard it from, but you need to be more like proactive than reactive in your studying. You're not going to see the rewards necessarily. Oh, I don't have a test for 4 weeks, but it's over these chapters. We don't really have anything over it. I mean, you need to make the time, you need to commit to, you know, reading the text or stuff like that. But, you know, try and stay ahead. Don't just only study when you have an assignment, but always try and find something that you can be doing to help you learn the material to help stay ahead. And so that way, ideally, when there's the night before the test, you read over you make a study guide, you read over it a couple times, and then you don't have to pull them on honor, because those aren't fun.
I did. I was just curious to know, what was your lowest point, or what would you say was your lowest point in college, whether it be like grades or just couldn't, you know, manage your time, or you couldn't balance it all, or, I mean, like, what was your lowest point?
I have a story for this. So it was first semester freshman year. You know, it's a rough adjustment. It really is, because you go from high school where it's, you know, a lot of us didn't really try hard or give it 110% in high school, and you get to college, and that's kind of what you have to do. And so first semester, I had a test in botany, and you know, it was at 8 a.m., which also don't take 8 a.m.s if you can help it. So it's literally the worst thing on this campus. But it was the night before, and I just felt like playing video games, and so I stayed up to like 3 playing video games, and I told myself, yeah, I'm just gonna wake up like an hour before my test and study for it. I hadn't studied for it at all before this point. this isn't me. Like, as much as I love playing video games, as fun as it is, like, that's not why I'm here. I can't play video games during the summer.
Somebody else have just a low point? You wanna share?
Like second semester freshman year, I was in 2 classes that were like pretty difficult for me, and I like kept taking the test, and I just like wasn't doing good on the test, and wasn't doing good on the test. I like didn't know what to do, and I was like really distraught about it. But then I just learned that actually professors really aren't that scary, and they like want to help you. And so I was like in Dr. Modal's American Civ class, and I was like not doing good on his test. And you can like, it has essays on the test, but it gives you the essay topics, and so you can write out your essay before you go and take the test. And so I just like emailed Dr. Modal, and I was like, hey, Dr. Modal, I haven't been doing very good on your test. I've like written out my essays for the final. Would you mind looking over them? And he was like, oh, sure, Bonnie, like that's no big deal. And so like once I kind of learned like, oh my gosh, professors aren't there to like fail you in class, but they like want you to be successful. Then I kind of like got on it.
Yeah, I think just to kind of go with what Bonnie and Joseph said, my second semester, I was also in botany, and my uncle just happened to get cancer that semester, and so I was just like absolutely gone that semester. Not only did I hate botany, but I also was just like, you know, stuff goes on at home that affects your school life. And so I was just like not doing well. So like Joseph said, I went into my professor's office. I was there every class. And it was Dr. Kelly. I don't know if any of you have had him. He's great. But I was just like, Dr. Kelly, I'm struggling so hard with all of this stuff, like just with your class in general and also with like things at home, like what do I do? Dr. Kelly literally would come up to the school at like 2 in the morning and just like write out equations for me, or like whatever I needed to know, like photorespiration or whatever. So like your teachers are there to help you, and they'll really sacrifice any of their time just to like come and help you, because they know that stuff goes on at school that like you're bad at botany, or they know stuff that like goes on at home. So
Yeah, I was gonna say something along the lines of like stuff at home, you know, really can affect your schoolwork. And it's like last semester, so my spring semester of my sophomore year, a man who I consider my granddad, lived right next door to my family for 10 years now, was diagnosed with cancer right over Christmas break. And I struggled with that for most of the semester, especially early on. And so it was like even hard to be motivated to even care about school whenever I was just wanting to call my mom every 30 minutes to get an update on how he was doing. And I basically was calling her just about every 30 minutes to get an update, even if the update was like, Kaylee, like, I'm at work, like I haven't even seen him, you know, but in my head, like just not being able to be there was like really hard. And yeah, it was hard for me to even care about school, about my schoolwork. And I actually like school, you know, but like stuff at home like really can affect it. But it's just important to keep it in context and to find ways to deal with stuff that's happening at home, whether it's someone to talk to. If you don't have a friend or like an adult in your life that's here local, like Dan Jarbo is always there. He's a free counseling service to all students. You know, if you need just someone to talk to, or just find some outlet to help get that emotional stress, not necessarily out of the way, but handled some, so that you can focus on your schoolwork. Because whenever it comes down to it, life keeps moving on, especially whenever it comes to school. And like I had to pay some ramifications of like early on in the semester not paying as much attention as I should have, because I was like preoccupied, thank you. Preoccupied by this other thing that I like hadn't paid as much attention to my schoolwork as I had. So I like had to play catch up kind of the rest of the semester. And like that was hard, and that was probably like my low point so far. But it's worth it to keep trying, and just because you feel like you've maybe done something that's going to wreck the rest of your school life because you made a mistake, or you, even if it was just like a big test that you didn't study for and then you bombed or something like that, like just it's worth it to keep pushing forward and keep trying to get over that, because you can still succeed, and professors help with that a lot.
Somebody want to ask a question?
Are there any pages on Facebook or Twitter that you like or follow that I should like or follow?
Well, you should like and follow the Academic Success Center on Facebook and Twitter.
But really, they post you get the emails, but you might not actually read them. But if you're seeing it on Facebook, Facebook, then maybe you'll be reminded, oh, right, I have a session, like, or my class, not necessarily you have a session, like, my class that I'm in has a session, and, oh, we have a test coming up, oh, I could go stop by for an hour, you know.
Are there some other OBU pages? OSF have a page?
Yeah, OSF has a page.
What do you guys post on it? Just fun stuff going on?
Just events that we have, yeah, Tiger Teams, Tiger Tracks, like deadlines to sign up for like Tiger Tracks in the spring. You should all do that, it's really fun. There's like campus activities,
Yeah.
campus ministries, all kind of events like that that they post, just fun stuff to get involved with.
Almost like all the organizations and like clubs on campus have a page, so like all the social clubs have pages. I think like the Pruitt Sisterhood has a page if you're in Christian studies, things like that.
Definitely, like, campus ministries, campus activities, OSF, Academic Success Center, and then just like Washita's page. Yeah, even like just Washita's page, just like help you like stay involved on campus, and let you know what's going on.
And Dr. Kelly.
Yeah.
He's at Washingtonian on Twitter.
Okay, somebody else?
What suggestions do you have for improving the overall student experience at OBU?
I would say, and don't take this the wrong way, don't make it all about school, because if you're in class all the time and studying all the time and you have no community, no relationships, you're gonna be miserable, and that really is reflected in your grades and just, and you're not gonna enjoy college. So I would say get involved, find your group of friends that you wanna hang out with and have fun with, but that you can also study with. Yeah.
I think I can speak for most everybody up here, like, as counterintuitive as it seems, generally, the more you're involved on, if you're involved with, the better you do managing your time. I think that's kind of the strength we all have, is we all are involved in a lot of different things, and so we have no choice but to manage our time efficiently.
Yeah, like, a good majority of us would say that our planners are our life, and like only half of that is because of school. Like the other half is because, but like we use our planners for school because we have to use it for everything else that we have going on in our life. Like half of my planner is full of time things, like, oh, I have a tutoring session here, here, and here. Oh, I have an OSF meeting here. Oh, I'm ushering the show here. Like I have to keep that all in my planner or I wouldn't show up for half of the stuff, and then I'd be a horrible OSF member and would probably be kicked out. So, you know, and also as a tutor, like if I never showed up to my tutoring sessions, I'd be bad. But because I have my planner and use it for these things, I also have to use it for my school stuff so that it's all there in the same place, and so I mentally can put it there. And so every single homework assignment I have is in my planner. If one doesn't get put in my planner, I promise I will show up to class and it will not be done, and I will have not even thought about it like since the class before. And so it really can be a relief thing. Like it can help you cope with. It is important to be active on campus, and like like Josh was saying, like it really can't even help your time management, but you have to like actually work at your time management stuff.
And also get to know the people that are in your major, like those entry level classes, because you're gonna be stuck with them all 4 years. That's how Bonnie and I are with the county majors.
We spent a lot of time together.
Somebody else?
You guys have kind of already answered this question, but do Washita professors truly care about me and my grades?
Yes.
They do. Every single one, or are there some?
Okay, I'll give you a story.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a science major, and sometimes I felt like the professors didn't care, they just wanted to fail me. They tried their hardest to make the test as difficult as possible and as confusing as possible to trick me, and so I would fail. I thought that up until my junior year, I was like, you know what, they really hate me, I don't know what else to do, and senior year, it's really dawned on me that the reason that they've been so tough and so difficult, and like made me work super hard to try to get something is because they care. And they want us to excel. And I don't know if any of you want to go to like graduate school or anything, but everyone I've talked to that is in graduate school now or is going, they say that they are very well prepared from Washita because the professors really care about you and really want you to excel. And so it's so difficult because they want you to excel. And so that's the main thing, like they really do care for you even though it is hard and you do struggle. Struggling is a prerequisite to success. And so I feel like they want you to do that so you can succeed in the long run.
It wouldn't be here at Washita if they didn't care, in my opinion. The culture here at Washita of the professors themselves is that they're here because they love to teach and they love to help students succeed. They really do, and they want to help you grow as a student and as a person. They don't just care about your academics even. They care about your spiritual well-being and your emotional well-being, but you have to like get to know them for that to be a thing, for them to even know how to support you in that.
I think it clicked for me when I was in Gen Chem 2 with Dr. Perry, and I was like, this class is ridiculously hard. Like he's just getting joy out of watching us struggle and all this stuff. And I was like, this isn't fun. I don't like it. And then at the end of the semester, he basically told us, he was like, this is why I teach the way I teach. He's like, it's because I care about y'all. If I didn't care about y'all, I'd make this class a breeze. But I expect the best from y'all, and I want y'all to succeed. And that just really kind of hit me like, wow, the professors aren't big and scary and evil and like trying to fail all their students.
Joseph, you said something earlier about you just need to get to know your professors, and that's really been a ticket for you.
Yeah. Everything I said earlier, it's gonna be all right if you do that. All this
Get
other
to
stuff
know.
you're hearing, it's good. What I say is true. Just being honest.
All right, another question?
I have one. How do you stay engaged and passionate about schoolwork, especially toward the end of the semester?
I think that's that's one of the hardest parts, especially like being a senior and then you're going into like end of school. I think it's just knowing that like you're here for a reason, like you're paying for the school for a reason, you're in these classes for a reason, you're with those professors for a reason, and like you just have to get it into your head that you need to take advantage of this because this is like the only time that you'll ever have the opportunity to be around these people, to be in these classes, to learn from this professor. Like you only have 4 years here, and so I think just you have to like self-motivate in order to get all of your work done because like, no, I don't want to write this 10-page paper I have due tomorrow, but do I have to do it because like I want to go into the field that I love and I want to keep going with my school. I just kind of have to like self-motivate and tell myself that there are a lot of students maybe who wanted to come here but weren't able to come here. Like I'm afforded an opportunity at Washita, and I'm very thankful for it. So I just kind of have to tell myself, just keep pushing because you should be very grateful to like be here and you want to do more with your studies. So.
Yeah, just like, I always have to just like remind myself that when I'm learning in the classroom today, I'm gonna be able to use like in the job a year from now. And so like I'm in a class this semester that sometimes I just like go in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this class ever gonna be over? Except for like this time next year, that's like what I'm gonna be doing. And so just like keeping it in perspective and like being reminded that like if I don't know it now, then like I'm not gonna be able to be successful in the long run.
Most of you, well, you all are upperclassmen, so you're taking classes that have to do with your major, so you tend to be more passionate about them. What about if we're stuck in core classes that we hate and see no purpose in, but it's November and we have to make it till December? What do we do?
It's like sorry, you go, Josh.
No, go ahead.
Well, I think that it's a really cool opportunity that we get the chance to attend the Liberal Arts University, which means we have to take a lot of core classes, which when I was like a freshman and a sophomore, I like didn't understand the purpose like behind being in a literature class because I don't like necessarily enjoy that much. But like one time John Merriman was talking to me about it, and he was just saying that like 10 years after he graduated from Washita, like he was with some Washita alumni, and somebody like brought up this piece of literature that he had read his sophomore year at Washita. And so it really just makes you a well-rounded person, which like is so cliche and I think is said a lot at Washita, but it really is true. And so just being like reminded, like you just have to like keep reminding yourself like, because I'm in this class, like I'm gonna know so much more about the world than my peers do at a university that isn't Washita. And just like remind myself like what Jessica said, like we are so blessed to attend Washita because it is such a good university.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta see it as an opportunity to learn because every one of the core classes is a core required class for a reason. Like comp, can't, if you don't have good writing skills, professional writing skills, it's gonna be hard on the post-grad. Same with math. Same with like contemporary, like if you don't know what's going on in the world, you're not gonna be able to like have an intelligent conversation over lunch. But, how do you stay motivated, or how do you stay passionate about it? Just kind of a good tip. You don't want to do something, not trying to go child love here, but just do it. Like, just sit down. Don't think about how much you're hating doing it or how stupid it is. Just say, you know what? I'm just gonna sit down and I'm gonna focus, and I'm gonna work for 10 minutes on this. And most of the time, if you start working for 10 minutes, you're just like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and finish. I'm already started.
Yeah, I think it's important to set goals, especially in core classes, because you don't want to read that 50 pages that is assigned, but like, if you set goals like, I'm gonna read for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna go eat dinner, or I'm gonna read for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna take an Instagram break or something like that, like set goals for yourself and like let them be reasonable, because like if you say, I'm gonna sit here and read for 4 hours because I have a 4-hour break, like it's not gonna get done because you're gonna get overwhelmed and you're gonna get distracted, and like I know that I do that all the time. So like I have to set like reasonable goals for myself to like get through those classes.
Is there anything that you would want to change about Ouachita, and if so, why?
It's okay, we won't tell.
I mean, as time has gone on and I've been here longer, the answer is honestly no. Like I remember being a freshman and and a sophomore and junior, and thinking, wow, there's some stuff I don't like about Ouachita. There's some policies I have. There's some things that maybe I didn't like about the culture here. But I mean, as time has gone on and I've gotten a little older and a little wiser, like I've realized that things are the way they are here for a reason. It's not meant to make things boring or make things worse on us, but it's meant to kind of help us. So overall, there's not really anything that changed. And I know that you may not see that right now, so, but I think when you graduate, I think you'll probably be on the same page as me with that.
The only thing I would say is that like I don't know Joseph personally, but like the rest of us are all very active on campus. And sometimes at OBU, there can be like an expectation of you have to be insanely active to be successful. And while it is very true that being involved is very important, not everyone has the same ability level of activeness, if that makes sense. Like maybe you do have to spend more time on your studies than other students. So no, you can't do 10 things on campus, but you just have to make sure that you have your 5 or your 3 or however many. And so like being active is important, but sometimes at OBU there can be this expectation that if I'm going to be successful at OBU, or if I'm going to come out fully enjoying my Ouachita experience, then I have to be involved in absolutely everything that I can be. And so that's the only thing that expectation I don't think has to be true for all students. And so that's the only thing that I would say.
Okay, somebody else?
I have a question. Is there anything from your freshman year that you would do differently if you could?
That 3 a.m. Waffle House trip?
Yeah.
I do that. It's not that worth it.
It's like for
Just
some
not worth
reason,
it.
freshman year, you're like, yeah, no rules. I don't ever have to go to sleep. But it's like, go to sleep. Like, you will be you will do a lot more successful in your classes if you sleep, and like, life will be better if you sleep, and it's just good. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to contradict him here a little bit. Like, yeah, I don't stay up until 4 in the morning every night. Live it up a little bit, because when you get as old as we are up here, it gets to about 10 o'clock and I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, like freshman year, me and my friends stayed up playing board games like on a weekday. Like whenever we had class the next morning at 8 a.m., we would be up playing board games. And like we haven't played board games at all this year, like the exact same friend group, because we're all so busy. So like, do take advantage of it being freshman year for most of you. And there are fun things that you get to do freshman year that you don't get to do other years.
But do study.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have any transition issues going from high school to college?
For sure. I think that my initial shock of college was Gen Chem. I had chemistry in high school, but my teacher really didn't teach us a whole lot. All we did was watch movies all day, which I feel like that's a lot of people's high schools. I didn't really go to a very good high school, and so I kind of had to start from scratch when it came to studying, because I didn't know how. I didn't have to study in high school, therefore I didn't know how to study in college. So I kind of had to figure that out on my own. It took me a while just to kind of get the hang of it. I think that kind of goes back with time management. Like, I would sit down and read, but would I really be comprehending what I was reading? No. And so I really had to just set forth like goals, like Jessica said, like say 30 minutes, I'm gonna read this, and like I'm gonna, a thing that really helped me like to study is like read something and then stop and go back and make sure I know what I read. Because that was a big thing for me, like I would read the chapter, but would I really comprehend what I read, and could I apply what I read to, like, say, a test, you know? And then I would say, you know, I've read this chapter, I'm good for this test, and then I would go in and say, oh, well, I'm going to C on that test, so obviously I didn't comprehend it very good. And so just kind of like set goals, kind of going back to what Jessica said, just set goals and figure out how to study early on, because if you don't, it'll bite you in the butt later on. So.
Yeah, and like it's okay to like change your study habits. Like if for the past 4 tests you've like been reading, but you've had like the television on, and like you aren't doing good on your tests, well then like maybe like turn the TV off and like make note cards or like do something like that. Like I find like I have to like type all of my notes out, and I can read them out loud to myself, and like that's how I study. But like freshman year, I didn't know that that's how I was successful in a class, and so just like try a lot of different things until you figure out what works for you, and then do it.
And don't, after you read something, kind of like what Nick said, don't automatically assume that like it's in your head. I'm a psychology major, and I mean a psychology minor, and so like we talk a lot about how like you think that you know something because you're reading it, and it's like in your short-term memory, and so you're like, oh, I know that, I don't need to study that. Like come back an hour later and read it again, and then you're gonna realize like, oh, I don't know that, like maybe I should go over it again. So just like take the time to like take that break or whatever, study for 30 minutes and then take a break and come back and like see what you really know, because you might know it or you might not really know as much as you think you do, and so that might be what's like affecting your test. Also, I know that like freshman year I studied in groups a lot, and like that can be different for different people. Like maybe like for one class, I really did need to study in a group. Like it helped me, but like for every other class, I realized like no, I cannot study in a group. So like I live in an apartment now, and my roommate will have like people over to study in groups for the same class that I'm in. I leave because like I can't study in a group for that class. So if you feel like you can study in a group for this class and you need that, like go do that. Find like a study group. Sometimes for 4 classes that might be better, but if you know that you don't need to study in a group, like get yourself out of that situation, because like you might study better on your own.
Somebody else? Boris?
Has Washington prepared you for life outside the bubble?
I think that since like I'm in upper level classes, and it's dawning on me that I'm about to be in the real world, it's kind of opened my eyes to see what life really is. I mean, obviously, yes, Ouachita is kind of a bubble, because when you're here, everybody says, you know, hey, when you're walking down the sidewalk, like, hey, smile at you, whatever. Well, the real world isn't like that, and it's kind of disheartening, because like I've visited a lot of other colleges or universities that I want to go to school after Ouachita, and it's kind of been like a letdown because they're not like Ouachita, but that's just the real world. That's just part of life, and you kind of just have to put your foot out there and know that Ouachita has prepared you well, and use the skill sets that Ouachita provides to go forth into the workplace, into the real world, and make a difference. And that's kind of the goal of Ouachita, is to be a difference maker. And so being in the bubble, we're learned to make a difference, And so when you go out in the workplace, you have to just keep going with that aspect and be a difference maker, and eventually it'll rub off on other people too.
Yeah, I think academically, definitely, we're prepared. But as far as, socially, we're prepared. You just have to look at it in a different way. The world isn't gonna be like Washita. It's not gonna be people opening doors for you and saying good morning to you every 5 seconds. But if you're like that, like Nick said, it's gonna rub off on other people.
And I think that Washita gives students a lot of opportunities to lead on campus and to serve on campus, like apart from academics. And I think that those two things will carry you far in life. Take advantage of them.
And find somewhere to serve, whether that's on campus, like with OSF, or with something like that, or if it's just in the community somewhere, in a church, or with something at the Elrod Center. Like, find somewhere that you're investing in other people, because that can really open your eyes a lot to what the real world does look like. And you can learn all these skills through service that really will take you very, very far in life.
And kind of going back to the core classes thing, because I know we all hate those. I can't speak for like being out of school yet and like saying, oh, well, I know that Washita's prepared me for like nursing school, that's where I want to go. But what I do know is that I just had to take like a nursing test, like get into nursing school. And I know a lot of people, like we have to take like the GRE or something like that to go to like grad school. And my test was like this big conglomeration of core classes is what it was. Like comp, I had to do grammar, I had to do spelling, I had to do math, some of it was like algebra. And so like I haven't had algebra since like freshman year. And so, but that's how much Washita's prepared me. Like I kind of procrastinated in studying for that, so I studied the week before and I went in there and I was like, I remember this from, my teacher. So your core classes really do matter, and in the end, like if you put the effort in, like it's going to show later on, and hopefully like into grad school, or if you want to go to
We're gonna wrap. If you could give in just like one sentence or a phrase, what would your best piece of advice be to this group right here, Joseph?
Well, it's like what I said earlier. You just gotta, first off, you gotta keep going to tutoring. You've got to go to this tutoring program. It's great. It's gonna help you. You'll go far. Don't miss classes. Just think about the real world. When you get to working, you can't miss work. You gotta go to work. Even if you're sick, you go to work. Then become friends with your professors and do all your homework. The points help so much, I know. So that's it.
Wait, can you say the same question again?
Like,
one phrase.
Yeah, best piece of advice you can give.
Okay, I think the best piece of advice I could give is to manage your time wisely, as I said before. That's really been the biggest thing for me, just because I can see it change. Like, I can definitely see, like, my time at Washita has been more beneficial because I manage my time better. Because I have a planner and I have, like, set things I do, like, I'm more successful as a result of it. And then also, just don't forget to have fun. I mean, college is the best time of your life, and if you don't do stupid stuff every now and then, like, you're going to look back and say, what was college? All I do is study. You need to have fun, obviously, but you also need to manage your time wisely, so kind of have a little leeway.
Okay. I would just say, like, take advantage of these 4 years to become a well-rounded person, with academics, with your social life, with service, with your spiritual life, and making sure that you're taking this advantage to develop yourself in all of those areas.
Yeah, literally just building off of that, I would say first and foremost, keep your spiritual life, like the Lord is most important. So once you're in the Word with Him, and once you're getting to know Him, things are going to fall into place because He is the creator of all things. So keep your spiritual life up, stay in the Word, and then do your schoolwork and actually do what the professor says, and then have some fun in there too.
Yeah, I would just say work hard and make memories, study for your tests, like early and well so that you can go to the green light with your friends and like, just like give everything I do 10%.
Work hard, play hard.
I think mine would be don't be afraid to ask for help. The amount of, and not just in an academic sense either, I mean, the amount of support and resources we have on this campus as students is incredible. If you're struggling in your class, don't be afraid to tell your professor. Don't be afraid to come into the center. Don't be afraid to set up a tutoring session. Don't be afraid to ask one of your friends that's doing better in the class, like, hey, do you mind helping me out with this? If you're having problems